Welcome to welcome to the live stream of Northampton Town against Wrexham. I'm Mark Griffiths, I'm joined by Andy Morrell, and we are here to bring you the full match as Wrexham return to league action, having booked our place in the semi-final of the Virtue Trophy. It's back to normal and back to the league side, as a side rather, we picked in our last league game against Crawley. So those players who were lining up in the last two matches now step back again into the sidelines, and we'll see how Wrexham will do. I suppose, Andy, the main question for me was who plays in goal, and it's interesting that Mark Howard gets the nod.
Yeah, afternoon. I was intrigued to see what sort of team he might pick and who would be a manager with the squad that he has. Because I tried picking it last night, and I didn't put Elliot Lee even on my sheet of paper that his squad is. So I forgot about him. I forgot about Ollie Palmer as well. And so I'm best not being a manager from now on in. I'm going to be a commentator. But the easiest and simplest thing is we won our last game in the league. There you go, lads. It's yours to lose again. And I think that is exactly what he's done. If he starts to make changes, he makes a rod for his own back, does Phil Parkinson, because people can go, well, if he's changed that, then why aren't I playing? Because I did well in the trophy games. So I think he goes, that's the same team, and that's the reason why I think Mark Howard stays in. I thought Okonkwo was a lot better in the second game, in that game against Bolton in the week. But I think he's been fair to the lads that have kept the shirt, are in the shirt, and won the game. Despite the performance at times, we got the game and won the game. So there you go, lads. It's for you to lose the shirt.
Yeah, exactly so. And I mean, you know, often it's tempting for us fans to look at it and think, yeah, it's like playing Football Manager, you know, just stick this player in for that one. But we're talking about human beings here. And like you said, if you've done your job, it's difficult to turn around to somebody and say, well, yeah, you've done nothing wrong, so you're not paying.
Yeah, well, for instance, then Mark Howard, he's conceded one goal. It was a ridiculous goal at that, a brilliant finish from outside the box, right into the top corner. He had no chance. So why should you, for him doing his job, why should you change it? I get that Okonkwo is the number one, and I get that he's going to be the future of this team. But as of now, the back four looked a little bit more comfortable with him and his noise behind it. And so I think it's fair that he keeps his pace.
Yeah, absolutely fair enough. The Wrexham team then. Mark Howard is in goal. The back three is Max Cleworth, Owen O'Connell and Lewis Brunt. Ryan Barnett is right-sided wing-back. On the left is James McLean. In the middle, Matty James will have Ollie Rathbone and George Dobson either side of him. And then up front, of course, the two new strikers, Jay Rodriguez and Sam Smith. On the bench for Wrexham are Okonkwo, plus Sev Revan, Dan Scarr, Andy Cannon, Ryan Longman, Stephen Fletcher and Jack Marriott. All of those players, apart from Fletcher, played in the Virtue Trophy, and to be fair, all looked good. I felt a bit sorry for Marriott on Tuesday, looking back at some of the clips. The number of really good runs he made for early crosses that then didn't come in, and he was getting a little bit frustrated as well. But
yeah, he's just finding his feet again after his injury. It was great to see him start. I think he looks really lively. I think he looks sharp. He makes that run to the near post. He was running the channels. He was closing down. He'd obviously been told, I felt, that you're going to play 60. Yeah. So just go for it. Don't leave anything in the changing rooms. And he certainly did that. And again, it's good to have him up to speed. But I was looking at the team when I was doing it yesterday, and he's fit again. Oh yeah, he's fit as well. Oh no, he's fit as well. He's coming back. And so it's like even more bodies, even more choices for Phil Parkinson. It's such a strong squad in depth.
Oh yeah, scary, isn't it, really? Illustrated, of course, by the fact that players like James Jones and Anthony Ford left when they've done nothing wrong at all. Anyway, looking at the Northampton side, I mean, Northampton are in an interesting situation at the moment because they've had a poor start to the season. They lost to Lincoln in January and were then in a situation where their next 5 games were all against teams in the top end of the table. Well, this is the 5th of those, and they've done well. They've only lost 1. They've picked up 7 points. They've won their last 2 matches. First time they've had back-to-back wins this season, and Kevin Nolan has come in as manager and clearly has had a major impact, especially when you consider they've had a lot of injuries themselves over the last month or so. And players are actually starting slowly to come back for them, although they have had a problem with an injury during the week, which didn't happen during a match. But Liam Shaw, who arrived in January and has really been getting rave reviews, is not playing. He's been injured in training. So Ben Perry comes in for him. He's on loan from Nottingham Forest. There have been a lot of good things said about him too. And also, interestingly, up front, making his debut, is Dara Costello on loan from Burnley, who they signed on the deadline day. Hasn't actually been fit enough to play for them yet, but he comes in a little unexpectedly perhaps to start today. So their side in goal, Nick Sanef is a New Zealand international goalkeeper. The back three were superb against Mansfield last Friday. Akin Adebayo, Jordan Willis and Max Dyche, son of Sean Dyche. On the right-hand side is a real Northampton club legend, Sam Hoskins, over 400 appearances for them, fourth most appearances in the club's history. On the left, Mitch Pinnock, a player who came up across against us quite a lot in the National League. Really good set-piece delivery, long throws. In the middle, Perry will be paired with another on-loan player from Charlton, Terry Taylor, who was Wales under-21 skipper. And then a dangerous trio up front. On the right, Northern Ireland international Cameron McGeehan. On the left is Taripe Fosu. And through the middle is Costello. They have clearly improved under Kevin Dolan, haven't they?
Yeah, well, he's been in charge for 9 games, and it looks like at the back of those 9, he's starting to get his points across. What he has done is he's mixed it up. He's brought back a couple of lads that were out on loan. He's brought them back and just stuck them in, straight in, and then he's added to a couple of loans as well. And what that's done, obviously, has lifted the group, because his last 2, like Mark says, they've won. And he's won 3, drawn 3, lost 3 of the 9 that he's been in charge. So there's certainly a difference in standard of numbers gained off the games played. So this is going to be tough for us. Again, because I felt Crawley was a tough one, long travel. And they were picking up a little bit, as they've shown that, in their results. And this is no different, I think. And they'll be buoyed by the win in the last 2 games, especially one against Huddersfield, that they'll be looking to come here, especially at home, and really push us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be a real challenge here at Sixfields Stadium, where we started off really well, won our first couple of games here, and then deteriorated. And there's a game which Andy, we were talking about before, where you're an unused substitute, and quite right too. Came here in a relegation scrap against Northampton, scored first through Lee Trundle, but then it all went a bit horrible. We ended up having 2 players sent off and lost 4-1. Quite wise to keep your nose out of that one, I would argue.
Yeah, I was just sat hiding in the corner of the dugout. Go and warm up. Who said what? No, I'm all right here, mate. Thanks.
You couldn't have been the only one to say that, because I noticed before the game we only brought 1 sub on, which when you're down eventually to 9 men and letting in goals left, right and centre, does seem a little bit unusual, doesn't it, really? We'll stick with these lads. They got it under control. But on the bench for Northampton, like I said, they got players starting to come back from injury. They played a friendly against Leicester behind closed doors on Tuesday to get minutes into those players. And the main beneficiary appears to have been Aaron McGowan, who's a mainstay for them. He's back on the bench after injury. James Dadge is the backup keeper. And they've also got on the bench Tyler Maguire, Will Hondermark, Jack Baldwin, Sami Shushan and James Wilson. Hondermark, one of my favourite Bond movies. But anyway, enough of that. Northampton in their usual maroon shirts. Wrexham in the gold shirts. Football players really believe in superstition, don't they? So I'm glad we won at Crawley, because people were starting to think that maybe those gold shirts were unlucky, all that nonsense. So thank goodness we got a result there.
That's right, we are a superstitious mob, and if I put my left sock on first and then my right sock and I do all right, that's obviously the reason why. Precisely.
I remember Cork, I forgot, it was Alan Cork, who played for Wimbledon and Sheffield United, deciding in January, when the FA Cup started, that he wouldn't shave till they got knocked out of the cup, and then they get to the semi-finals and he looked like Robinson Crusoe, just this huge grey beard going down to his chest. Magnificent. Before that sort of thing was trendy. I don't know. Anyway, they're getting the pleasantries over and done with in the middle of the pitch. And the 2 skippers, Hoskins and McLean, Brilliant support from Wrexham. It's a 12:30 kick-off, and it's best part of 3 hours from Wrexham. But we've packed out behind Mark Howard's goal, and also we have a section of the stand next to them, a new stand that's gone up, and there's very few seats empty there as well. So brilliant turnout for an early kick-off. And we're about to set things underway with Wrexham's two new strikers, Smith and Rodriguez, on the ball. Remember, you can get in touch using the hashtag AskWrexham. That's hashtag ASKWXM on Blue Sky and Twitter. There's a hell of an atmosphere. Yeah, it's come at the right time to get the crowd going, this upturn in form under Kevin Nolan. So away we go. And immediately Smith pops the ball backwards, and Cleworth sets himself, gives the strikers time to get out of the pitch, and looks for Rodriguez. It's headed firmly away by Deitch, won back by Dobson, and then smashed over the top all the way through. Well, not all the way through to Mark Howard. The ball held up a bit, and O'Connell, under pressure, is fouled in the box. But, if you want to endear yourself to your new fans, I reckon Costello's gone about the right, chase a lost cause and cause some havoc.
Well, as he booted it forward, just a clearance really more than anything. It just looked fairly simple. It was going to go through to Howard, but must have held up a little bit in the weather. It is drizzling. It's a bit windy out there, and O'Connor decided, oh well, hang on a sec, I've got to chase this, and ends up getting there and fouled. But something to keep an eye on.
As Rodriguez runs a good header, Smith making the run down a left channel, and Hoskins has to be alert to hook the ball out of play for a throw to Wrexham, level the edge of the area. On the left-hand side, nice link-up. We've seen some early signs of good link-up play between those two, and I think part of it, quite simply, just because they're quality players who can read each other a bit naturally. So McLean throws short, but it's intercepted and cleared comfortably. Brunt now on the halfway line. Squares it to O'Connell, who gets his head up and stands over the top. Smith is trying to run in behind that, takes it beautifully, but loses footing. Wrexham ask for it. Well, Phil Parkinson asks for a penalty, and the fans at the other end. Smith doesn't. It looked like it just slipped to me.
Yeah, it did, but what a fantastic little first touch. Great ball by O'Connell. Puts it in right over the centre half. So they're looking to turn them round straight away. First thoughts.
Here now is Cleworth coming forwards. Wrexham penning Northampton back. Barnett on the right flank. Cleworth once more. Wrexham recirculate it. O'Connell in the centre circle, lifts it looking for Barnett. He's got a bit of space as Cleworth was carries, but he can't quite bring it down cleanly enough, and Fosu feeds it back into midfield. Ball played forwards. Brunt steps in decisively. Referee right on top of it, tries to play advantage, and then gives the free kick when he sees there is none.
Yeah, well, there's already been a couple of runs as well from our centre midfielders past the strikers. Strikers are making the channel runs. That time it was Dobson. He goes into the hole in between the two strikers, which leaves loads of room for Barnett out on that right-hand side, but he's unable to just take his touch into his path.
Wrexham fans very loudly
noise,
singing. Yeah, singing you only hear for the Wrexham as the ball's dinked into the edge of the area. O'Connell and Brunt get up and get in each other's way, rather. Important foot in by Matty James, who's limping afterwards. The ball goes for a goal kick. But yeah, James looks to be in a bit of trouble. It was a good 50-50 that he won. He looks to be running her off now, at least.
Just one on the top of the foot. You just get there first, you toe it away. And then the opponent comes in, just steps right on the top of his foot. It's a definite goal kick. Don't know what Hoskins is on about. He's thinking that he's going to get into the linesman's head.
The goal kick is picked up by Rathbone. Lovely little chest down to James, who helps it down the flank. Hoskins will have a real battle down that right-hand side of Northampton's team against McLean, and he gets that one clear. But a head tennis, Costello helps it on. Cleworth putting it into midfield. Rodriguez looks to really place that header nicely. And McLean can go back to Brunt. Hoskins puts pressure on. But O'Connell now has it, and again, he goes long. Ball stabbed away into midfield, where the touch of Taylor, that's him down. And luckily for Wrexham, Smith is just caught offside as he comes back to join in with play.
Yeah, frantic, isn't it, in possession? First the thought is go and press, can I close them down? Northampton playing formation that's the one that we've struggled with a little bit, with two sort of either just really narrow either side of Costello. So it'll be interesting to see how we combat that. Hopefully we'll be able to play a little bit. Great ball.
Cleworth banging it down the right flank. Smith is there first. Dyche is with him. 2 Wrexham players arrive in the box. He pulls it back. The return pass is overhit though. And yeah, bit of a disappointing ball that back in by Dobson. But again, Smith, he's just available for those sort of passes, isn't he?
Well, he's just asking questions of the back three. Do you want to run towards your own goal? What it does for the centre halves is it just gives them a great option. You don't have to be particularly accurate with the ball. You just have to lift it, leave it in that channel, let him go and run.
Powerful header by Brunt. Northampton fans wanted a foul, but the players didn't ask for it, as Brunt got it well against McGeehan in the air. McGeehan's now chasing, but again O'Connell lifting it long. Rodriguez can't quite stretch and reach that, and Dyche heads it clear. But Barnett can't dispossess Fosu. Costello takes over. Challenge is a good one by Matty James. Kevin Nolan doesn't think that, but he did well to win that, I thought, as he was stretching beyond his man. And now again Dyche being tested by Smith, manages to head it away. Young lads, Dyche, who was on loan to Woking at the first start this season, but has come back under Nolan and has done really well since returning, as Rodriguez, under pressure, can't find McLean. Yeah, there's very little space in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, it's just hectic, isn't it? Every second ball's being competed for, as you'd expect from a Kevin Nolan team, exactly what he was. Second balls, late runs into the box, really key goals. You know, I was looking at their system when I was doing a bit of research, and Hoskins on this right-hand side, I was surprised at, because he's scored goals all the times he's been here, and I'd have thought he'd be playing further up the pitch, but it looks like he's fell into a little pocket that has suited him.
And I don't think that, if I read it right, Nolan has always played 3 at the back, so maybe he's a bit further forwards when it's a back 4. He missed a penalty last Saturday. I know that means nothing, but yeah, I better just prove I'd read about them. Throw in will be taken by Odemayo, but 25 yards out right hand side, throws it into midfield. Ben Perry does well just to work the ball backwards. And now it's Dobson stepping out to pressure Dyche, but he's helped it into midfield. Taylor working it wide. Pinnock into Fosu. Poor touch, and as a result, well, he gives a sniff of the ball to Rathbone, so he wraps it into the crowd.
Well, Rathbone playing this left-hand side, he saw that pass that was going to go into Fosu, and can I nibble at the back of him on his blind side? He comes steaming in and is able to dispossess Fosu out of the ball.
Throwing again to Northampton then, left-hand side, about 30 yards out. Thrown in to McGeehan. McLean from the other side of the pitch shouting for a foul throw. It's knocked over the top. Fosu, just forces a false header from O'Connell. Brunt half clears. Now McLean is racing out to put pressure on Hoskins and force him to play it backwards. Odemayo back again, so a sigh from the Northampton fans who wants him to knock it forwards. Here's Willis, the central of the 3 defenders. Odemayo driving it down the right-hand side, asking a lot of McGeehan, but O'Connell has to play it and heads it out for a throw.
Well, we're certainly more on the front foot from the press when we've not got the ball than we were against Bolton for the first part of the game. They're really eager.
As Dobson switches, and that's a nice ball. Barnett now on the charge, taking on Pinnock. Pinnock's done well to recover, and Barnett has to go back into midfield. It was a great idea by Dobson. Dyche got a toe to it, but couldn't stop it getting through to Barnett. And now here's O'Connell again, being progressive on the ball, finding Dobson, who chips the ball in. It's blocked, and now Dobson is beaten to it in the middle of the pitch. Costello lays her off. Fosu's made a little run ahead of the ball and receives it nicely. Costello's gone beyond him. Good feet by Fosu, and he manages to find McGeehan. This is nice build-up play by Northampton, but the strikers are a little bit isolated as McGeehan in the end desperately tries a shot which goes well off target. The midfield just didn't get up to support them at all then.
No, but they're sort of, I think they're going to be left, those front 3, to just go and attack. You go and score us the goal that's so important. We'll just make sure that we don't concede at the other end. And you can see where they end up. Fosu ends up on the right, McGeehan there on the left wing. They're very, very fluid in the 3 that they play because they're so narrow. The width comes from the wing backs. So we'll see how that pans out.
Howard knocks it long, flicked on well by Smith. Rodriguez does really well to hold it up, but under pressure he can't pick up Barnett. The ball's cleared down the flank by Pinnock. Cleworth looks to control a header down to Dobson. Fosu intercepts. Dobson wins it back with a typical tigerish tackle. Wrexham's midfield three already have all got some good challenges in. There's O'Connell with the Wrexham fans again making good noise behind him. Switches to the left-hand side. Lewis Brunt brings O'Connell into play once more. And Wrexham happy to be patient. Not to draw Northampton out of that shape, that defensive shape Andy was talking about. The ball to the right-hand side means it's chipped over the top. Smith gets up really well to nod the ball back to Dobson, who wins a throw-in. 30 yards out, right-hand side. It's taken quickly. Beg your pardon, it was Rodriguez who won it, and now Wrexham have it on the halfway line through Cleworth. That front three of Northampton, which teams have been doing against us lately to disrupt us passing out from the back row. Connell's made a beautiful ball. Barnett in sprinting to keep it in. Doesn't get proper contact on his cross though, and Dyche plays it out from the back, but Northampton are wasteful. And the ball goes out for a throw to Wrexham.
Yes, a couple of times down that our right channel that we've got in over the top. One for Smith, one for Barnett. He's just going at such pace towards the byline, he just can't get any decent delivery on it. But there's nobody really up with him anyway.
So Connell sprays one in the other direction down the left-hand side, but McLean can't control it. Throw in. May well have not got to it by the time it crossed the line, to be fair to him. So it's a throw to Northampton, level the edge of the area. Right-hand side, their own area, that is. Odomayo drying the ball assiduously.
Probably a good time to say that we are one down today. Mia isn't here. She's not just sat with between us and we're just talking around her. She isn't here. She's got a birthday party tonight, I think. So her sister's birthday party, so hope she has a good night.
Well, she's going to be celebrating as Barnett gets some space on the right. He's kept it in on the goal line, sets himself, drills it in the goal mouth. Keeper takes that too close to the goalkeeper, and Sanev is able to come across and claim it. Couple of caps for New Zealand Sanev's got. And he's also got the most fluorescent kit ever. It's so fluorescent, it looks like he's got no thighs.
A steward.
Yeah. Well, Smith is standing right on him. Sanev shows how good he is as a kicker. Slices it, still gets the halfway line. Cleared by Brunt. Rodriguez backing in, creates a loose ball, picked up by Rathbone. McLean dinks over the top. Smith's gone a bit too soon there. But again, you know, those sort of moves.
The threat.
Yeah. He's got in a couple of times in behind and timed it right, and he wasn't that far off.
If you keep making them, you'll get 1, 2, 3 right. He's probably got half right so far. But that threat in there, what that does is then leaves Rodriguez to a little pocket because the back three has to drop with him. And hopefully we then be able to play and mix up our game.
Yeah, I mean, to get half of them right, I'd say, is a good percentage for a striker, isn't it? You know, most attacks come to nothing. As he does well to Chester for Rodriguez, and now he's going to use his pace, but that pass has too much on it. But again, the right idea. And although, you know, what we've seen of Rodriguez so far, there have been a few times he's not quite getting the weight of the pass right, but you can really see what he's looking to achieve. He's looking to link up early with Smith. I like it.
Yeah, I think that's words Drake. Link. He's looking to link play. He's looking to play with his teammate, his striker. He knows how important it is when you play this system 3-5-2 that you two strikers, you do link up together and you look for each other and try and create something from nothing. And he's certainly looking like that. He's the one that's dropping into that pocket. He's helping the midfield out because they're a 4. They're with that box 4 that we've played against so often recently. And he's the man that's helping out.
McGeehan stumbling, losing his balance, dispossessed by Matty James, does well under pressure, gets the ball back to Howard. Cleworth does well just to block Fosu off a bit, give Howard time to clear it. And now it's McLean in midfield. Nice layoff. Matty James going for a fancy one, the outside of his foot. Doesn't find the target, but good work by Rathbone again. Tireless. Wins it back for him immediately. And Wrexham have it once more at the back. O'Connell feeding it in. Dobson hurried by the pressure of Fosu, the Northampton front three, as I was alluding to before. Putting pressure on, something Wrexham haven't always coped well with. That's a good ball by Barnett and Smith. Nice idea. Tried to flick it on. Didn't quite pick out Rodriguez, though. But there's a threat. Something's coming with those front two. as the clearance goes straight through to Howard.
Well, that was interesting, that, because the ball went into Barnett's feet. Normally he's on the half turn ready to go at this, but first time round the corner, he knows Smith's going to make that run, and he certainly does that. Then the little layoff from Smith Rodriguez, just a little bit far off him to be able to pick up that second ball.
It's a pity Cleworth just took his eye off the ball, possibly because Rodriguez was making a great run through the middle and behind the defenders. It rolls out for a throw to Northampton. On Ask Wrexham, Janie Lightning says waking up at 4:30 a.m. should be illegal. The things we suffer for football. Oh, tell me about it.
Correct.
Wow. Fair play. Vic Schultz saying everything seems to be very fast so far, like I'm watching a game of 1.5 or double speed. Great energy so far. Yeah, it's both midfields working extremely hard. Here's Odemayo with a nice switch nodded down to Fosso in the corner of the box. He works it back into midfield, exchanging passes with Taylor. But Wrexham keep their shape and the ball goes back to the halfway line. It's Odemayo once more. Looked like he was setting up another big switch, decides against it. And it's the Northampton back three, just moving it around amongst themselves. Perry has made a run. Doesn't use him, feeds it into midfield. Taylor is robbed by a brilliant piece of play by Dobson. Now it's Smith, but isolated up front, holds it up well. Finds Dobson, who's smash and grab, won that tremendously. Wrexham go back into their own half now. O'Connell is looking down the flank, decides that's a tricky ball to Barnett. And then Wrexham go back to Howard. Howard drills it over the top, but doesn't pick out a striker. Willis has time to bring Odemayo to bring it down and feed it backwards. As the Welsh anthem roars out from the away end, O'Connell gets it well, beats McGeehan to it. It's put back in again. Well won by Brunt. Again nodded down though, and McGeehan though miscontrols Brunt under pressure, does well to hold it up. O'Connell into midfield, just gets that wrong, but the pass forwards is intercepted by him and he tries an immediate ball over the top. Too strong, but once more, that option's always on for us.
Absolutely, and it is still frantic. Neither team's really, when in that middle of the park, has been able to just make that pass. A couple of passes to really unlock either's midfield.
Terrific leap by Brunt, beats McGeehan in the air. Hoskins deep in his own half, put under pressure, and again it's Rathbone getting the foot in, throw into Northampton, 10 yards short of the halfway line.
Well, just looking at our setup from without the ball when we don't have it, there's definitely been a lot of work done on that, I think, to play against this formation. So we had a little issue last week with Crawley when they had the four. We didn't know who was going to step in, who was going to mark who, but it looks definitely like the one of the back three, they are definitely going to be brave, step into the winger or the wide man that's narrow, that's high up the pitch, to stop it happening at source. And then from there, the midfield can jump to the front, to the back three. Whenever they get the ball, it's Rathbone that's going out to Odemayo, or it's Dobson, going out to Dyche. They're certainly on the front foot and putting them under a lot more pressure than we did when we were at Crawley.
And like I said, Rathbone and Dobson have already been stepping in, making interceptions, making important tackles. Throw in taken. Odemayo on the stretch, just about gets it out of play. Another throw to Wrexham, about 20 yards into Northampton's half, left-hand side. Ball thrown in. Smith, great strength. Buffeted around by two defenders and then gets a block tackle in on Odemayo, through to Northampton. About 20 yards out from their own goal, on the right-hand side.
We are throwing it into a lot of bodies there. There's like one in front, one behind of Smith there. Really difficult one to bring down. I wouldn't mind just into Matty James and a little soft layoff to then play from McLean.
The throw in, won eventually by Brunt. Dobson quickly back to Howard and quickly out of that crowded centre of the pitch. Howard over the top, and again Smith's after this, and Willis lets it bounce. Smith runs onto it in the box, hits it, and Sam Smith has scored his first goal for Wrexham. He took a push in the back, it didn't bother him. First time left foot finish across the keeper, and Wrexham take the lead.
Well, what a punt from Mark Howard, straight down the throat of it, and it's Sam Smith. He's making that run constantly. They're all at 6s and 7s, the back three. Dyche pushes Smith in the back, which might have put him off balance. He holds himself and bangs it to the left of Sanzes. No chance. 1-0. Brilliant. Sam Smith has started this game so well. His running, determination and the intent with those runs thoroughly deserves the goal.
Oh, 100%. A proper striker's finish. That is, like you say, you feel the shove in your back, but I'm not going down to someone else can have a penalty. I'm not going down to the ref and say no penalty. I'm just drilling this. Tremendous finish.
Yeah, that was brilliant. And Mark Howard just straight down, and it's Willis that stepped in a little bit, drops over his head, pushing the back. But when you've scored goals like Smith has so far this season, he's not going to miss that.
No. Terrific early take as well. And Wrexham have got the lead. You say about Howard as well. O'Connell sprinted straight back to hug Howard. As, the keeper did really well there to play that ball. But like we've been saying all along, that ball is on. It's not the first time the centre-backs have struggled to get there. And it's just dropped over the top of Willis. And you can see when it was in the air, thinking, if he's not going to make this is an issue for him. Hoskins tackled well by Rathbone.
I think that goal, it sums up why we've had to bring in a Smith. It's because he's mobile, and this is no disrespect to Ollie Palmer. He gives us so much in that first half of the season. But Smith's got that little bit of pace that when that ball does go in behind, he's away and he's got a chance of getting on the end of it. Whereas Palmer would be more in a fight ball with the centre halves.
As Smith wins a free kick on the halfway line. A bit of a hack, frankly, at him by Perry. Smith belatedly is up and limping away.
Well, if you saw him from the centre that they had after Smith scored, Smith ran towards to go and block the ball, and he ran straight into him, straight into Perry, and Perry blocked him, and the ref saw it, and then I think you've got a little bit of afters right there.
Lovely free kick by Brunt, picks up Barnett up against two men. He rolls it back to Cleworth, 25 yards out, back into midfield. Only Costello really steps out, and McGeehan. Indeed, as Andy said, the front three are the ones to step out. The rest stay in that mid-block. And Wrexham go back to O'Connell, who stands up the diagonal. That's a tempter, but Dyche stretching, heads it away on his foul. Rathbone, edge of the area. Can't quite bring it down, but he keeps going, hits it! And it's in! 2-0! Ollie Rathbone continues his scoring run. Typical Rathbone persistence. I thought he'd lost it. No, he just keeps going.
He just kept going, didn't he?
Yeah, run through the challenges.
So again, it's that long ball over, really struggling to head it away, and Rathbone picks up the second ball. I can't quite make out who just lets it go across his body. I think it's maybe Rodriguez. And just like you say, Rathbone just keeps going. And what a finish as well. Doesn't quite catch it, but what he does do is it's right in the corner, in off the post. 2-0. What a start.
Yeah, sensational. We're not quite halfway through the first half yet. But Wrexham, 2 goals to the good, and the Wrexham fans, well, you can imagine, can't you? Rathbone, oh wow.
I'm going to have to see who just let that one go past. I'm not sure if it's Rodriguez. We do apologise, because Rodriguez and Dobson, from here, they look so alike.
Yeah, it's Rodriguez, isn't it?
I think
it's Dobson. Yeah, you're right, yeah.
But they've both got short ponytails. They're 15 and 16 in number.
Yeah.
Rathbone does so well, though, doesn't he? Not known for his goal scoring, but after a couple of brilliant strikes earlier in the season, he just smells it, doesn't he?
Yeah,
smells those timings.
And like I say, didn't get hold of it, but the placement's perfect. It rolls in off the post. And Wrexham have the 2-goal lead. It was Dyche, whose underpowered header gave the ball to Rathbone, although to be fair to Dyche, as McLean crunches in, hell of a good tackle that on Hoskins. Throw-in doesn't go Wrexham's way. Rathbone's going mad. Well, half the Wrexham team are. But, tells you something about our commitment. It's a midfield throw-in, and half the team are throwing their arms around.
Well, the linesman was looking at the ref, and the ref was looking at the linesman, and I'm sure both of them were hoping that one of them would say, yeah, that's definitely a Northampton or a Wrexham ball. But, yeah, certainly Wrexham are up for this.
Wrexham win it straight back from the throw-in, and James spreads play nicely. Cleworth on to Barnett in his own half. He'll have to go backwards. Yeah, Dyche, it was just an awkward one. He had to stretch, try and head it clear. And then it was Dyche that Dobson pinned on the edge of the box as the ball's played towards McLean. Hoskins did well to get underneath him and force it to go over McLean's head for a throw-in.
But again, what we saw for that goal was Dobson's forward run from O'Connell. Ball over the top, puts them on the back foot. But Dobson does so well because he just stands and uses his body as a shield as Rathbone's coming flying in just down one side of him, and that enables Rathbone to continue into the space and get his shot off.
McLean's getting a fair amount of grief from the Northampton fans. I mean,
it's feisty, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, okay, he gets grief anyway, so people notice him, but he's in a really physical contest with Hoskins that I think, to be fair, the referee at the moment is getting right. They're both quite physical in their approach, neither of them are crossing the line, and he's just letting them battle with each other.
Well, I don't think you expect anything different, do you?
Exactly.
From either player.
Yeah.
Hoskins been here ages, played a lot of games, like you said, over 400. And McLean, I don't think he's going to shield away from or shy away from a little contest of 50-50, is he?
You're not wrong there, as Rodriguez turns and plays an ambitious ball out towards McLean. Hoskins can only nod it on for a throw into Wrexham about 30 yards out on the left. McLean throws it back to the halfway line. Wrexham 2-0 up in the 26th minute. As the Wrexham fans sing it going down with the Shrewsbury, which seems to have amused a few of the Northampton fans in front of us, actually. That's a nice little ball over the top by Dobson, and Barnett's breaking into the box. Drills the early cross. Dyche gets a foot to it. Driven in again by Smith and blocked. That was goal bound. Willis got the block. And it's a corner to Wrexham. Again, Wrexham looking so sharp.
Well, this is what we're desperate for, I feel, away from home, is to make a few passes, and we've had the ball the majority of the time, and that time it's Dobson with a delightful little flick over the head for Barnett. Can he pick somebody out? He doesn't, but the ricochet falls to Smith on his weaker side, hits it with his right foot. Good block by Willis, out for a throw, but there's Dobson right behind him as well, screaming for it. Or sorry, Rathbone on the edge of the box saying, just a pull back and I'm putting it in.
McLean then with the in-swing, a big crowd of players around the penalty spot. It's swept to the near post, and it's the far post. Ricochets in the goal mouth. There's a scramble. O'Connell, great feet, drops loose. Rathbone scoops it narrowly over from 6 yards out on the turn. How did that not go in?
Well, what has just happened there? Because it's a ridiculously well-whipped ball from McLean. And does it just hit direct? I think it just hits directly. Hits the post, falls, massive scramble, and then it falls to Rathbone, who tries to dig it out, just can't swivel on it, and just misses the upright wrong side.
Lovely little deft touch by O'Connell, wasn't it? Right in the middle of the crowd to just release the ball out in the goal mouth. That's all he could do. Rathbone really unlucky. Could easily have put it in the roof of the net. Just turning and scooping and couldn't quite put it in there as Sanev has to come out of his box to clear again. Matty James on it. Wrexham fans have downgraded Northampton's status from Shrewsbury compatriots to RU Chester in disguise. That's getting worrying. There's Brunt. Nice little pass into midfield. James keeps the ball moving back to O'Connell.
Well, this is what I felt we didn't do at Crawley, was use James, use Rathbone, drag the front three onto you so that they press. Then you've got spaces down the sides of them with McLean and the three in midfield.
Brunt now feeding it back to Howard. But Wrexham certainly look really impressive here as Howard's kicked that time, but too strong. Smith couldn't get round Odomayo, got touched tight and wouldn't let him run in behind him. But this is certainly encouraging. Wrexham, people have been worried about the away performances, and I get that. But often a promotion campaign, well, it's quite rare you get a season like, well, the one when you were manager and we had 98 points, or the season we had in the National League when we got over 100. It's rare to just look great from start to finish. Much more often, the sort of seasons we had when we got promoted when you were playing, where you stay in the mix for the first half of the season, and then the second half you look like a strong side. Yeah,
well, the teams that do well at the back end of the season are the teams that go on and invariably get out of the leagues. You have to hang in there. Our home form has been fantastic, which keeps us in the mix right the way through. And our away form is 50-50, isn't it? We're in the mix, we're right in the middle, so it's not horrendous. But then what happens is you need to find a way, and hopefully after the Crawley win, you get your win, which gives you confidence. but there's certainly been a difference to me today in the way that we have played. We've looked to go through O'Connell so much more. We've looked to go through James, Rathbone in the middle of midfield like that, but it didn't happen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Brunt's just got that one wrong, but again, Wrexham swarm around Fosu to win it back, and that tells you something, doesn't it? As McLean takes a bit off that one and drops a beautiful ball to Smith down the left channel. He's forced wide by Willis, so he holds on to it. No support for Smith, but he's got no issue with holding the ball up like that. McLean goes back to Brunt on the halfway line. His body language before it arrived at Brunt was, I want to move this on quickly. This is a side that are really focused on getting at Northampton here. Barnett takes over. Dobson now in the middle of the pitch. Barnett goes narrow, allows Cleworth to get down the outside, and he looks to run at his man. He'll feed it back into midfield, but, you know, it's good, snappy, purposeful passing by Wrexham.
It helps when you're 2 up as well. That certainly gives you confidence. It breeds the belief. Everybody wants the ball. You want to show what your good player you are, but they've done this from the start for me.
Well, this has been excellent, and we're ready at the point now where you think we can't let them back into this because we've been so dominant. Dobson over the top. That's a lovely idea. Barnes will just be beaten to it by the keeper, Zanev. But again, you know, when Northampton look to put pressure on the ball, look to step up a little bit, we can just dink it in behind, and we've got players who are able to run onto it.
Yeah, well, we just had a little passage of play there where Sam Smith ran into the channel and McLean played it. The ball to McLean isn't fantastic, so he's got to play first time. But what a sight he would just love looking up and seeing that run being made, because it gets him out of a massive hole as well. Okay, I just need to just flip it down the channel, and I know that my mate's going to run and at least get a throw for us further up the pitch. Such an out ball.
Brunt does well, gets in front of Fosu to head the ball clear. McLean now deep in his own half. Brings it down, drills it forward. Rodriguez, cute dummy, doesn't quite find Smith, but Smith typically fights for it. And Willis has to get rid of it in extremis. Yeah, anytime there's any opportunity to play Smith in or the ball falls near him, you just get the feeling he's going to make something happen, or he's going to cause problems like that. Even if he can't win the ball, he can battle for it. He's really a presence out there.
Well, you play percentages as a team. I used to have a lad called Danny Newton, played for Stevenage when I was at Tamworth, and he was exactly the same. He would just offer in behind all the time, and you knew that, right, we're just going to flip it down the sides, and he might not get it, but what he will do is he might get us a throw in territory. So we're just constantly putting pressure on that back line, and I wondered what 2 million might get you in this day and age as a striker. But if that's what we've had to pay to get Sam Smith in, from what I've seen so far in the 2 games he's played, we're very tasty.
He looks very special, doesn't he? As Willis misheads and does well to recover as Smith was lurking. McLean, nice little bit of skill there. Wrexham wanted, I think there's some justification of handball, didn't get it, and Matty James runs out of pitch. As Hoskins goes on a tremendous run down the line with the ball in his hands to steal some yards. He doesn't take it in the end, but Adebayo's followed in his footsteps, literally, and then pinches a few more, throws it into him. all that hard work, and he gives it straight to Wrexham. O'Connell turns the defence. Smith won't be able to challenge for that. Loyal look to anticipate the back pass. It's played safely to Zanev. And, it's a poor clearance by Zanev. Nearly gave the ball to Dobson. Taylor managed to keep hold of it. Adebayo then, not the best ball down the line. McGeehan does well to get there and win a free kick though, as he just ran over the outstretched leg of Brunt. Throw-in, beg your pardon.
Well, yeah, I just thought he ran in. He looked to play the ball past Brunt. It hit Brunt on the shin, went out for a throw-in, and he collided straight in to Brunt. Here comes the long throw.
Yeah, Pinnock, his first chance to hurl something in.
Well, it's the first time I've heard his name, hasn't it, today?
Yeah. Mostly he's just been backing off to stop Barnett running in behind. Here he comes, hurls it in towards the near post, and Brunt gets a touch to it. It drops loose, so Connell puts it out for another throw, which Pinnock will be able to deliver. 34th minute, 2-0 up Wrexham. As Pinnock again dries the ball on his shirt. It's a horrible day here, just misty and rainy. Floated near post, is headed away well though by O'Connell. Comes to Pinnock, who tries a shot but puts it over the top into the delighted Wrexham fans.
Well, I think that's the first real sighter that Northampton have had. Maybe McGeehan, you could say, for his shot that dribbled past Mark Howard's post. But that one he drove in. Can we get somebody a little bit closer to it? Good first touch though. Just drives it well over the bar though.
Smith is just coming over to get a bit of treatment here. I think he did go down early, didn't have a challenge, and he's just having looks like he may just cut his knee in there, cleaning it up. Interesting, the referee tells Howard get on with the goal kick, which I think is quite right.
Absolutely.
But we've recently seen refs stopping games for players to tie their laces, which I really can't understand.
He's still going on about that?
I am. It happened again in the women's game the next day.
Oh no.
It's just like, what? Why is these things, what? I know.
Why is it creeping into our game?
I think it's unbelievable. Lacegate, I call it. Anyway, I'm sure that's a region of Nottingham, isn't it? Long ball forwards, Brunt wins the header. Throw in to Northampton. Oh, I'll keep going on about that, I assure you. When we're playing in the European Super League in 3 years' time, I'll be banging on about that. I know what lace is in French, so I've got scope. Brunt heads it clear. The ball is picked up in midfield by Taylor, and he helps it backwards. Northampton are bodies in Wrexham's half, which hasn't happened all that much in the last, 20 or so minutes. Fossey looked offside there, but the flag doesn't go up. Cleworth takes it from him and then knocks it off him, and Wrexham get the throw.
I think when we've not had the ball, I've mentioned it before, I just think they've ironed out a few instances of when and where you go as a player. If you're playing the right side of midfield, Dobson roll, if the left side centre-half gets it, that's your man, that's your trigger to go and press. Everybody else will work around that, and that is how we're going to defend as a group. And I think he's just ironed that out to the players, and it's just made a whole world of difference to the way that they're set up.
Now here's the thing, 10 minutes left of the half. Jordan Willis is coming off, the centre-back, and to replace him, coming back from injury, senior player for them, Aaron McGowan, but just trying to work out if Willis was hurt or...
Doesn't look like it. I think Nolan had a little word in his ear. I think a change of formation, because they've not had a great deal of joy, Northampton. So I think they've probably gone to a back four.
So McGeehan, immediately McGowan lofts it over the top. Fosu sweeps it into the box. It's overhit. Costello wins a corner. Did well there under pressure from Brunt and McLean to win the corner. And so McGowan can get up for the set piece. Pinnock again coming across. Wrexham with everyone back defending. And there's a minute's applause now, which I'm afraid has passed me by. I'm not sure what it's about.
Yeah,
but corner comes in and is volleyed towards goal. Hacked away. That was a bit of a scramble, that. It's gone high in the air and Wrexham half clear it. Barnett helps it on. Throw in.
I think that was a half chance there at the back post in the scramble. Yeah, I think a fan has passed away, sadly, 37 years old, hence 37th minute.
I don't like commentating when there's a minute's applause because it's a very pure thing, and I love the way the Northampton fans then didn't react to nearly scoring. The Wrexham fans are joining in as well, and it's always good to see that. The ball's flicked on from the throw, O'Connell half away, and Wrexham get a free kick, bit of a wild challenge on Dobson.
Well, just Northampton had their best period of play there, last couple of minutes. They've put a couple of balls into our box, set piece, half chance, and then another throw into the box, but Wrexham just stood up to the task, and I'm sure Mark Howard won't be in any rush to play this forward. Matty James there just using his body, buying a free kick really in our box to relent the pressure.
Ball played long by Howard and headed away by Odemayo. He's shifted across to the left-hand side of the defensive unit.
Yeah, I think it's the two, Dyche and Odemayo, just in the central two. McGowan will play right back for them.
As Wrexham stab it forward, nice idea, but Dobson won't get there. He hassles McGowan after the ball gone over the line. But it's a goal kick. Yeah, Carla GS on Ask Wrexham saying Sam Smith's a great get for the club, great signing. It's 2-0 still to Wrexham. Northampton just looking to change things around a bit.
No, I think they have. I think Willis has gone off. I think Dyche has just gone into the central position.
There's good bit of work in midfield by McGeehan. He's fouled. Referee played advantage. Pulled to the ground by Dobson. And the ball is stood up towards the penalty spot. McLean will get to the overhead cross. Launches it early over Smith's head though. And Dyche flicks it nicely on to Odomayo's now left-sided centre-back. Yeah, I think it's just more to do with Willis really struggling. He failed to cut off the ball over the top, didn't he? Fosu looks to back into Brunt there. Ref doesn't give it, and O'Connell puts it out of play. Another chance for Pinnock to hurl something in. And since that substitution, even if it's more a change of personnel than shape, they've just got into it a little bit, put under a bit of pressure. Pinnock's had 2 throws now in a corner. And that corner, it was half chance, wasn't it? Scramble in the box.
Yeah, they've just had a little bit more time on the ball to make their passes. We've not been as sharp in that transition.
Pinnock then steps up, slings it in towards the near post, and it's hit Matty James' last corner. So Pinnock, who caused problems with his last delivery from the right-hand side, can put another one in now. He spots it up carefully. Again, Wrexham with everyone back picking up. Smith lurks on the edge of the box as the ball's driven into the near post, headed away, and Smith is the player to chase after that. He won't get to it though. It's a throw in to Northampton, which McGowan wants to leave to somebody else. Pinnock now will take it. Referee says he's stealing yards, so Pinnock's back into midfield. Kevin Nolan's having a blast at the referee. Fourth official comes across and tries to make peace. We had a question earlier on Ask Wrexham asking if Andy Carroll still lives at the end of Kevin Nolan's garden. You have to do some investigation. That'd be a good post-match press conference question, wouldn't it? There's now long ball forwards and Smith is battling for this. Makes contact with McGowan, who goes down really, I think, rather theatrically. Referee tells Smith, calm down. Gives the free kick. I don't think there's anything more to it than that. Free kick on the halfway line now, which Sanev can take. I'm just looking at the replay of it. Yes, there's nothing at all in that. Bit naughty by McGowan. Ball driven to the edge of Wrexham's area. Again, it's just partially headed. Brunt gets up so early and seems to stay up. The ball comes back to McGowan, who's going to have no choice but to play it back to Sanev. 3 minutes of the half left, and you rather feel, despite the way we played, it's important now just to get in 2 goals up, as Northampton just find a little bit of a second wind. Nice picture on Ask Wrexham from Gareth after the Rathbone goal of floodgates opening. Hasn't quite gotten our way yet, but you know, the game is young. Wrexham win it back, good foot in by Dyche. And McGeehan pops the ball back into the Northampton half. McGowan on the left of the 3 for the moment after the players get back into position after that corner a while ago. They're still settling. Northampton happy just to move it around at the back. Wrexham keep their shape. Sanev now, the keeper. He's going to go long and break this pattern. Long ball forwards. Cleworth attacks that decisively. Good header back over the top. And a Northampton have it at the back once more.
Does seem to be not clearing as far, doesn't it? When it's against Mark Howard, when Zanez is kicking dead straight down, it's just dropping, isn't it? Just the other side of the halfway line. Wrexham really deep.
Ball over the top of Wrexham's defence and dealt with well in the end. Brunt goes to ground to make sure that nobody can get there. Just sort of runs until he's within playing distance of the ball and then just drops on the floor like a sniper's at him in the path of Hoskins.
I don't know if he slipped, but he ended up in the billboards.
Let's have a look. Yeah, he
just a
sort of
little nudge and
skidded in a bit, didn't he? But yeah, it was certainly effective. Getting the body between man and ball one way or the other. Ball by Howard goes deep into the Northampton half, and Perry manages to bring the ball down until he runs into a tackle. Wrexham wants a foul for that. Perry looks to leave a foot in. Wrexham are not happy, and the ref's going to his pocket. Perry gets a yellow card.
Yeah, I think it's off the back of the previous one as well. That's a couple for him, and it's a yellow.
Yeah, he struggled to bring the ball under control and then just arrived late and left a foot in there. Dobson was the recipient. Wrexham have a free kick in midfield, and with 13 seconds of the 45 left, I think Wrexham would be very happy to have a chance to put the ball in there now and just relieve a little bit of this pressure. 2 added minutes. Free kick is fed down the side by Barnett to Rodriguez. That's nice. Right side the box. He chips it in. Good save by Zanev. He got a little bit more on that. He might well have chipped it straight in. Good effort.
Yeah, well done, Ryan Barnett. Northampton setting up for the delivery around the back. But it's Rodriguez makes the run. Slide ball down the side into the channel. And then I don't know if it's a cross come shot or just put it in an area, but it goes straight into Zanev's hands, but with heat. He ends up tipping it over the bar.
Yeah, he's a pretty tall keeper, Zanev, and he had to stretch up to get to that. So McLean signals, whips it in with spite. Zanev just about deals with that. He'll go for the goal kick as Wrexham tried to attack the loose ball. Well, in the middle, Smith wasn't very happy with McLean's delivery, and he's having a complain with him. But to be fair, I don't know whether he's thinking about trying to score again. Zanev made contact with the post, I think, as he tried to keep that out.
Well, again, it's absolute venom right into the middle.
It's a nasty one, isn't it?
Zanev does really well. He deals with it. He gets something on it because you quite easily let that go. Gets something on it, drops into the middle, unable to hook it back in.
In midfield, the ball goes high in the air. Brunt wins it comfortably. And a mistake by McGowan, and Smith is herring after him, forcing him to launch it away. McLean keeps it in on the halfway line. Wrexham work a little triangle, and Brunt lifts over the top looking for Rodriguez. It's a nice idea, but overhead throw into Northampton. Yeah, that one, the corner that McLean hit the post with. I wonder if he was thinking back to that and the way that Zanev didn't look too convincing. I think, to be fair, he had a man on him, but he just did the big starfish, even though it wasn't a shot, which I would argue isn't the time or place to do it. As the half-time whistle blows, Wrexham will be delighted. The Wrexham players have been purposeful all half, even sprinting down the tunnel. That's everything they're doing has been at pace, and that's been a highly satisfying first half, hasn't it, Andy? They've really, really gone about their business brilliantly.
Yeah, well, what's impressed me most is the structure that we've defended from and the intensity that we've gone at when the balls have been in transition and when we've gone after the ball. Completely different to Crawley. We were very, very passive. We allowed them to play. But we've really, from that mid-block that we were able to go, they've gone pressing, and they've gone pressing in numbers, and they've not let Northampton settle into the game at all. We started really well, and then with the ball as well, we've been loads more patient. We've made a few passes, which then drags their midfield out, and then we're able to hit Smith and Rodriguez from those longer balls, and Smith has just been a real pain in the backside for Northampton and caused them all sorts of problems. And Wrexham worthy 2-0 leaders at half-time.
And like you say, strikers that make things happen around them. You know, Smith looks like a deluxe version of that, where he can finish two, but he just, give him something that's half worth chasing, and he'll start causing a commotion, won't he? Really, he's very threatening with his pace and his physicality.
Yeah, well, let's not take anything away from Palmer, because Palmer does exactly the same thing. He still offered that one into the channels, and he was able, but he just doesn't have that intensity and that pace that Smith has got that could turn a channel ball into something else. And he's certainly done that. We're looking at the defensive stats at the moment. Very, very even, but Wrexham have been dominant that first half for me. You know, in possession of the ball. James, Rathbone and Dobson all looking for the ball off the back three, as well. So as a midfielder, you can't just sit and wait for the longer ball. You have to go and press, or the midfielders will get on it and get half turn. So they come out a little bit, and that gives the strikers a few more gaps. Possession, we're well higher, aren't we? 60-40 really in possession. Brilliant.
And looking at those clearances as well, we've made 2 more than them and 2 more headed clearances than them. The 2 headed clearances they didn't make were the ones they should have made before the 2 goals, weren't they? That should be level.
And that is fine lines, isn't it? Just Willis maybe on the first goal, maybe 3 yards ahead of where he should have been. He didn't really read that Howard was going to play forward that long, and Smith just smelt the possibility of a half chance dropping in over his head, and didn't he take it well?
Just to mention, just as I saw this, the Yarb on Ask Wrexham saying that our audio is about 4 seconds behind the video. Wish I knew how to fix that problem. Well, we'll just have to anticipate, won't we?
That's right.
We'll just anticipate it.
It ends 3-1.
Yeah, that's it. Shh. I'm supposed to tell them that. They'll all be down the bookies. We'll get banned. Yeah, it's been really pleasing to see the way Wrexham have gone about this. And that percentage figure is interesting. Now, we won a lot of games of less possession than our opponents this season, and I think some people have seen that as something to worry about. I certainly don't. There's more than one way to win a football match, and being ruthless and defending your lead when you've got it is certainly a legitimate one. But it is interesting to see us having 20% more, it's a considerable amount more than Northampton on their own patch, though, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's something that Phil Parkinson will have looked at over the past 6 months, really, to see how can I improve our away form? How can we make that into a top 6 side? Because our home form looks after itself. How do we take us from mid-table up to that sort of 6th, 7th place in that away table? Because that will mean us getting promotion if we can maintain our home form. And he will have thought, we just don't have the ball. I think he'll have said, we don't have the ball enough to cause and dominate games away from home. We haven't had it enough. And he's trying to make amends with that. Playing O'Connell helps in that central role, and then Matty James as well. He should be the link, and I just don't think that we've utilised that in the games that James played. We've gone a little bit long too early and haven't it's a pass, one in, and then maybe back to them, but what that does, it just drags their midfielders out a little bit, and we've certainly done that in this first half.
Yeah, exactly. It feels a bit of a waste not to be playing through Matty James. You've got a player of his calibre in there. You might as well use him and feed him. But yeah, I sort of think as well, just when small parts of something go wrong, you maybe then have to take more drastic action. And if you're going to be playing with less possession, you have to make sure you're pretty ruthless going forwards. And we haven't been maybe over the last 6 weeks or so, which then necessitates maybe a slight change of emphasis. But it's been enjoyable looking at how we've managed in the first 35 minutes to take the game to Northampton. I was thinking last week, I need to have a look at the sort of numbers behind our away form and home form and the sort of difference between it. But now I've got a third element to look at, which is since Smith and Rodriguez arrived, because we're playing a bit different, and the outcome after 1.5 games of it is a bit different.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we'll see, from what I watched that first half, the intensity to get the ball back when we've given it away. The 3 midfielders, how many times did you use the word swarm in that first half of just lads just around the ball, getting the ball back? It doesn't allow them to make a pass, doesn't allow them to get their head up and play forward with any quality, which means that you're going to get the ball back quicker. And that's certainly something I've noticed from today to Crawley. That is a major difference, which has enabled us to then get on the ball and make more passes.
Simon Johnson on Ask Wrexham is pointing out that Max Dyche's dad, Sean, was playing for Northampton last time Wrexham played at Sixfields. More depressingly, of course, Sean Dyche was Chesterfield's captain when we lost in the FA Cup quarter-final against Chesterfield. I always remember seeing the pictures of him and Tony Humes with the trophy and thinking, everyone in football says don't touch the FA Cup because you can't win it that year. And whereas I understand Chesterfield and Wrexham's captains probably aren't too worried, it was a quarter-final then, so why were they doing it? Why? And did either of us win the cup? No. We had the most depressing afternoon of all time. at Chesterfield, and then they were absolutely robbed in the semi-final by Middlesbrough.
Absolutely robbed, yes, they were. I remember that. And I remember playing against Sean Dyche as well. He was grisly and old school. He would put a boot in, he would tackle you and leave a bit on you as well.
Yeah. Oh, God. I love Bob Mortimer and his podcast, which is faintly about football, Atletico Mince. He does a Sean Dyche impersonation, which is absolutely magnificent, but it's usually talking about how he eats gravel and stuff like that, and it's magnificent. And which one is it? Is it on that show? It's Grealish. Jack Grealish is scared of Dyche because he thinks he's a monster. That's my kind of show. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Also on Ask Wrexham. Oh, hang on. Oh, look out. We were trending again on Blue Sky the last half hour. Tell you, we own Blue Sky. We are the anti-Musk. And yes, it was Jarvis who asked whether Andy Carroll still lives down the bottom of Kevin Nolan's garden. I think he lives. Was it a caravan or something he lived in his drive? I can't remember fully now.
I'm not sure.
I can recall roughly what he's referring to, but yeah, not exactly. Lots of comments about the noise of the Wrexham fans coming through.
Yeah, they've been very good. Right from the start, it was packed with about half an hour to go, wasn't it? Yeah. And they were singing right behind their team, giving them good noise when they warmed up. They've made a major part this first half.
And it can, I don't know, does it still, actually, now I think about it? I used to always feel that it can make a difference to a crowd and to players sometimes, the half-12 kickoff. Maybe we're all more in the rhythm of this, of things happening that way. But I remember going to one of the very first, if maybe not the first early kickoff we had, was a derby at Chester. And it was the mid-90s. Gareth Owen scored a really good free kick. But I remember just thinking, this isn't a Wrexham-Chester atmosphere. And it was a strangely underpowered sort of game compared to what you'd expect, which can happen, obviously. But I used to often think the Wrexham games, maybe we weren't in the rhythm of early kickoffs, often felt a bit like that if you had to start early.
Yeah, I think it's happening more and more, so it's more fans are getting used to it. You've got to get up early, get across here. So the fans are pretty much right up for it. As a player, I didn't used to like it. I think it was Wayne Rooney famously said, who likes having chicken and beans for breakfast? But it's odd, my pre-match was chicken and pasta, but eating that at sort of 9:30 in the morning is not ideal, and you've got to try and get your head around it, and just your rhythm and your normal routine goes right out the window. But it's happening more and more for TV, etc. these days. So as players, you just got to get on with it.
Yeah, exactly. So and of course, I suppose one benefit, sports science has come on so much that if there are any elements you can do to give players a boost, you can do that.
Yes.
I mean, from your knowledge of cycling as well, the little, it's a cliche now, isn't it, marginal gains, but those tiny little things you can do just to improve matters can make a big difference. There's some weird byplay on the pitch between Northampton's two mascots. Now, what somebody mentioned, something about Rathbone's warming blanket, there's a name, said, what is that mascot? And Gareth replies, it's Clarence the Dragon. Today's match is Battle of the Dragons. I feel, even though Rex is an amiable sort of mascot, I don't think he'd have much trouble against that guy. I've got to be honest.
What's the link for Northampton and a dragon then?
Exactly.
Their badge is
badge.
that a dragon in the badge?
The badge is fascinating. It's got I think it is a dragon on the left, and then on the right is a lion with a huge white tongue that's so long it puts you in memory of Gene Simmons from Kiss. It's just it's about a foot longer than his head. It's quite impressive. I bet he roars with a lisp. That's a sentence I've never said before. I'm gonna admit it. Another sentence I said earlier, of course, when they nearly scored from that corner, was a scramble in the box. Of course, a classic Elton John song, which reminds me that Althrop is about 5 miles from here. The Spencer family home. Yeah, just thought I'd throw in a bit of Lady Diana facts. I think my work here is done.
Good knowledge.
It's the one that had the famous malfunctioning fountain, didn't it? They made a memorial fountain and it didn't work. And I'd have thought fountains are fairly straightforwardish in terms of it's just water will come out and go at the bottom. But no. Yeah, there are two mascots. I'm not sure what the other one is, but it's currently carrying around a large rectangle of what looks like, I don't know, cardboard. And then there's a sort of dragon. There's nowhere near as fearsome as Rex, in my opinion. Got some kind of apologetic wings on. But yeah, I think I'm quietly confident that Rex would handle any confrontation. As Chris Babaiko saying, really like the start that we've made. Urgency that's been missing from away games. Passing mostly on point. Quick and linking it well. Yeah. And this is very interesting, actually. I think Rathbone's warming blanket again. Feels like they all trust each other to be where they're supposed to be. You love to see it. And there's two little thoughts that come into my head from that. One of which was, they're actually showing the mascot now. It's some sort of gonk with sunglasses on. I don't know. I'm moving away from that. The idea of trust in your teammates, firstly. I know I'm taking that slightly out of context, but, a player like Matty James is a sort of player that, if you've got the ball and you see him and he's got someone on him, you can still, as long as it's a proper paced ball to him, you can trust him. He wants to receive it. He doesn't care that somebody's on him, and he will be able to, sort of act accordingly and keep the ball.
Yeah, well, I think the second goal, actually, Brunt absolutely wraps one into him, sort of knee-high, to play off him, and he just cushions it back to O'Connell. O'Connell then plays the forward ball, and then we end up scoring from it. I think that just sums it up, do you know what I mean? He has that ability to receive under pressure, and what it does is it just changes the picture slightly. Rather than just a centre-half getting it, looking up and playing it, if you lend it to the centre midfield and it comes back, a striker's moved, something's happened further up the pitch that makes the defenders think, which then changes the picture that the centre-back will have, and he's able to then play a better pass or a higher percentage pass. And that's what Matty James offers, and I think the three midfielders have all done that today. Because that was, I felt, a position that you could have made changes. Andy Cannon scored in the week. Yeah. Did he deserve to miss out today? Maybe not. Elliot Lee, I know he's been in an accident and stuff, but he was another one that has scored last week, coming on and changed it and got the winner for us, played well in midweek. So, but he went with the three, and they've really turned up the intensity in the centre of midfield for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know I took that slightly out of context, what Chris was saying, but as well the idea that they trust to know where their teammates are. Well, I mean, I've always felt that Parkinson's teams really quite transparently look like, you can see they work on shape and passing sequences a lot in training. A number of times you feel they can play those automatic passes. What does Mourinho call them? Automatisms. Anyway, we are underway again. Brunt with another of those step ladder headers, and Wrexham clear it. Just to say as well about Elliot Lee, like you said, he's involved in that incident. He hasn't travelled today, but there's nothing to be concerned by with that. We've got a big squad and a lot of quality, and we can rotate in and out, and
there's no need to rush.
Yeah, there's no
risk.
worry.
McLean's a different animal after his one.
Yeah.
But driving home after the game on Tuesday, I think that's Smith offside. Driving home, the road was closed the way I went home, and there were a couple of flashing lights, and I got diverted, and I obviously didn't know then that it was the incident for Elliot Lee. So hope he's all well, and the other person in it as well. I think there's another car.
Great tackle by Dobson going to ground, then James as well, and Fossey just launches it over the top. Looking to test O'Connell, but a bounce through to Howard. Northampton had to get the ball out from that area. All that pressure. And it was quite a long spell when Northampton battling to get out of their defensive third came from the sort of instant we were talking about in the commentary last week, where a player's offside, but because they don't go for it, therefore the ref says we'll carry on. And I think Northampton would have liked that free kick because Smith is interfering in the respect that he's making people play. That's a good ball down the flank, and now McLean takes on McGowan, pulls it back beautifully. Great save by the keeper. Big chance that for Wrexham to score the third. Rodriguez with the hit, and then Barnett's cross. I think may have taken a little nick off McGeehan, but that was a big opportunity there for Wrexham to make it 3-0.
We talk about patterns of play. Ball rolled into Rathbone, first time round the corner into McLean's path, and what McLean does really well is as he gets to that byline, just a little pull back, knows Rodriguez is coming onto it, hits it so firm, but right at the keeper saves with his legs and out. Really good chance.
And again, snappy play by Wrexham coming forwards, early delivery, and a big moment that in the game that keeps Northampton in it, as Rodriguez is unlucky down the right, trying to flick it inside and pick out Smith. Doesn't quite find him, but Wrexham claim it back again in midfield. We're looking intense here as we drive forwards. McLean inside to Rathbone, and Rathbone's wins the throw-in the end. The crowd here today, 7,685, 1,404 Wrexham fans. Wow, not bad for a more early morning journey.
No, well played, Wrexham fans. I knew they liked an early morning.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's in your nature. Throw on the halfway line to Northampton, right hand side. Wrexham 2-0 up, could easily have been 3 then.
Well, that would have put the game to bed, wouldn't it, if that had gone in. Well played, Jay Rodriguez, though. He knows that if he makes the box, McLean's got the quality to put it on a plate for him, and he does. Just anywhere else really in the goal, wouldn't it? And it would have gone in.
McLean helping her on, and again it's good work by Smith looking for Rodriguez. Doesn't quite find him. Rodriguez catches man. Referee plays on, and now Northampton builds down the right hand side. It's picked up well by Fosu, but good defending to block him away by Brunt, who once again is looking impressive. The ref gets in Matty James's way, and he's complaining to the referee that he blocks him off. The ref's going to come back instead and ignore him and warn Rodriguez for the challenge. Nothing more than that. Northampton fans booing the ref for not giving yellow. It was never a yellow card challenge, though, to be honest. James Wilson is getting ready, a second sub to come on for Northampton. So Kevin Nolan's giving it 4 minutes unless somebody's carrying a knock and is not happy. Throw-in comes in, headed away by Wrexham. It's picked up by Perry. A return pass is clever by McGee, and Perry drills a flat cross in. Dealt with well, though. And after calmly laying it off, Matty James bursts through the middle. Ball's played for Smith, who was body checked. Has he? Nothing given. McGowan ran across him. And again, Wrexham unhappy with the ref.
Well, I'm not sure about that. Smith saw the ball, saw him coming. What he does do is he heads it and then pulls himself away because he knows there's going to be contact. If I leave my head there, and I'm not particularly wanting that contact on my side of my head, so what I'll do is I'll pull out of it and ends up heading it out of play.
And off the ball, James, having made that nice pass and then sprinted through the middle, was really clearly blocked off. But I understand the ref not spotting that as Northampton make the change. Fosu comes off and James Wilson comes on. Fosu gets a big hug from his manager. He's been very busy, Fosu, but I feel Wrexham's defenders have handled him really well. The moment he's got into positions where he's threatening, they've snuffed him out.
Yeah, well, what they've not been able to do is Fosu is get half-turned, which is what they want from the 210s, which are behind the striker. And because we've been so aggressive in our start positions with our two centre-halves either side, have gone in and just haven't had time to get on that half-turn.
Throw-in taken. Dyche and Smith are wrestling away. Distract each other from the ball and bounces off Dyche's shoulder. Sanev, the keeper, knocking it long. Brunt. I've got a Northampton player, actually. I think that's a Wrexham throw. Yeah, it is. I was trying to work out, as it seemed to come at about chest height, what part of Brunt around there is so hard that they can make the ball just bounce 30 yards in front of him. Turns out it's a Northampton player's head. Throw-in taken. McLean right-footed over the top. Smith was offside, so he can't challenge. It's headed away. And Rathbone heading it up in the air. McLean scrapping for us. A Wrexham throw, yeah. McLean charged after it, had no chance of getting there, but distracted McGeehan so much it landed on him and bounced out of play. Throw-in to Wrexham then. Smith shows for it on the edge of the area. The throw doesn't reach him. Good cover by Perry, puts it out of play.
just looking at the screen there, is that Colin Calderwood back?
Yes. Yeah.
Here as assistant. He nearly signed me.
Wow.
I nearly signed for these. I was close to signing after I was leaving Coventry. But it ended up, he ended up going to Forest. And disappointingly, he didn't want to take me to Forest.
Oh. More fool him. It's unlucky. Rodriguez trying to feed it into the path. Well, not trying to feed in the path of Barnett. That's the point. Barnett wanted it played in for him to run onto. Rodriguez wanted it to be a give and go by him for Barnett to play him in behind, and on a different wavelength it goes out of play.
But whereas before I think we'd have just gone back to Howard and he'd have kicked it up the pitch, we've looked to progress the ball up through our midfielders, and just unlucky there, really, just like you say, just on different wavelengths.
O'Connell heads it clear. Headed back in towards the edge of the area. O'Connell wins it once more. Dobson nods it on. Smith under real pressure from Odemayo. Unlucky that his pass evades Dobson. Good foot in then by Rodriguez. Throwing Rodriguez. We can already see he puts in a shift, doesn't he? When we haven't got the ball, he's very competitive.
He's clever. Really clever. And, you know, when he gets the ball sometimes, his little touches, very Fletcher-esque.
Rathbone's done brilliantly. Charges down and dispossesses McGowan, surging through the middle. Only Smith in support, and his view of him blocked off, so he goes wide to McLean. He cuts inside, then works it back out. Rathbone's made a good run back out to the flank to give support. McLean now, first time cross is under hit. McGowan volleys it up to the centre circle. O'Connell, purposeful first touch, helps it onto Cleworth on the right. Smith once it stood up for him. Cleworth looks to, mishits it though, much too close to Zanev. Easy take for him.
Yeah, good play. Rathbone going ratting again. Right around McGowan. Nibbles it off him. Then not quite the pace to get away. And good defending, good covering from Dyche. Just slows us down a little bit.
Good interception by Rodriguez. Well, not just an interception. Dobson picks out Rodriguez in midfield. Rathbone feeding it back. And I hear is O'Connell. Wrexham moving it wrong quickly. Wilson tried to nip in but couldn't get there. McClure put under pressure. Is calm, and Wrexham again just recirculate it back to O'Connell. It's Brunt easing it on to Rathbone on the halfway line. We've looked good in these situations, just moving it around, players making themselves available, nice little movements into pockets as Dobson has done now. It hasn't drawn a player across to him to allow O'Connell to release Cleworth, but Wrexham are happy to be patient. We're 2-0 up and we're moving the ball crisply. Rathbone. McLean back to Brunt once more. And O'Connell, who so often is the progressive passer, feeds a good ball. He spots it. Rodriguez has done well to find a bit of space in the middle of the pitch. Dobson now had a look up to see if there was something on in the middle. Doesn't like what he saw. So Wrexham again move it about, but it's just good just drawing Northampton around. He has a little bit of space for Brunt to drive into. He rarely needs a second invitation. He starts to accelerate, and the Wrexham fans appreciate he's getting into a good position. McLean takes over, crosses, Dobson edge of the area, tries to beat his man in the D and get the shot off, but he can't. It's a good tackle on him by Perry, and then a ball round the back. O'Connell clearly pushed in the back. Ref doesn't give it, and O'Connell does very well to keep his balance and bypass Costello and get it back to the keeper.
Yeah, well, a really good passage of play by Wrexham then again as well. Working the ball up the pitch. Rodriguez dropping in, making that fourth midfielder. That's the one that when Elliot Lee plays up there, that's what they're asking him, and Rodriguez is doing the same job as Lee, but he offers a bit more of a goal threat when the ball's out wide. But O'Connell did so well, didn't he, there? Read the danger. The ball's going into the channel, got his body in, and then was able to keep the ball for us as well.
And Northampton on the free kick on the halfway line. Sam Smith penalised for going in with a raised foot. Smith wasn't happy with the decision. But anyway, Wrexham with everybody back defending as McGowan stands it towards the edge of the box. And Brunt mistimes it that time. Goes over his head. O'Connell gets a foot in, and Rathbone picks up a 50-50 and finds McLean back to Rathbone. Smith is herring down the middle. Rathbone on the left flank, taking on his man. Smith has pulled defenders away from him, and that's a crucial little foot in by Hoskins, coming from behind Rathbone. But it comes back to McLean, who delivers a cross, and the header is blocked. Wrexham is screaming for a penalty. It's not given. Handball they wanted as Rodriguez did well, leaning away from goal to get power into that header. And it'll be interesting to see that one again.
Well, Rathbone's on a mission, isn't he, here? He's the one that gets the ball back with McLean. McLean just rolls it into his path and off he goes. McLean backs him up and the ball in, like you say. Rodriguez coming in late. Penalty spot-ish. Heads it. But unfortunately block. I'm not sure it's a handball because he's just so close to the defender.
Well, I had a quick look at it. It's not the best spot to really be able to see this. We've got a laptop between us, and it looked suspicious that it didn't hit his body. But having said that, like you say, he was touch tight marking him, and so you feel maybe the defender should get the benefit of the doubt, as Rodriguez is clearly fouled there by Odemayo. Free kick taken quickly by Dobson. That's a great idea. Smith on the right hand side. No real support though. He has to hold it up. I wonder if Barnett could have burst into the middle there with a bit more intense. Smith is just knocked down off the ball as he gives it back to Barnett, but play continues. And Wrexham are building on the right. Good lunging tackle by McGeehan. Puts it out of play, but McGeehan involved in the game a lot deeper than he was in the first half. Here is Cleworth working it inside. James back to the halfway line. Brunt. Wrexham happy to move the ball around on the halfway line until Rathbone again eagerly drives forwards, and McLean again driving inside, feeds it backwards in the end to the halfway line. Ball by O'Connell is flicked on nicely by Rodriguez just beyond Smith. Clears. McLean thought he could get to it and then checked out, and Costello has it. Only Wilson ahead of him. Wrexham players getting back quickly, and Brunt makes a good tackle. Rather comical attempt at a dive by McGeehan, but McLean seemed to clearly play the ball. Nothing given.
Well, you talk about swarming. There was a part there where Pinnock had the ball and 4 gold shirts around him. He's got nowhere to go at all, and Wrexham get the ball back on the transition. That's where they've been so good for me, which has enabled them to be in this position where they're just stroking it around the back 3 and waiting for those gaps to happen.
Dobson down the line. Smith beaten to it by Odemayo. Good acrobatic header clear, but they have to be, they're being pushed to their limits. The Northampton defenders, as the linesman gives offside against Smith. Well, I thought Smith was not taking part in that because he knew he was offside. Or was he being a bit cute?
Yeah, I think he's being a bit cute because he sees the ball and he just makes a little movement towards Dyche, which ends up Dyche pulling out a little bit and not making the header like he was, and hence the linesman or lines person giving the decision.
He fooled me. I'm coming clean. O'Connell wins the header from the free kick. It hits James, but then Cleworth launches it away. And it's well taken by McGowan as it drops out of the sky and fed back to Zanev. He hits it left-footed and doesn't get a good contact on it. Matty James gets a foot on it in the middle of the pitch. Dobson again, surely fouled. Nothing given. And now it's Pinnock lifting the ball in, but over McGeehan's head. Scrappy this until McGowan brings her under control, but McLean is putting pressure on, forces Hoskins to go back all the way to his keeper Zanev. He played an hour. Wrexham 2-0 up. Good value for that lead. As good work by Brunt, steps ahead of his man, brushing him aside. And Wrexham again have possession, and we really are controlling possession in this part of the game.
We saw McLean there going for him. That is the difference, I think, because if that was Crawley, then player would just get it, turn and play forward, and we'd be on the defensive. Whereas that time he's got to play back with the possibility of a turnover. So much better on the front foot.
Ball played long. McGowan heads it clear into midfield. Matty James just beaten to it by McGeehan. Now here's Wilson, who hasn't really got into the game. Yes, he's managed to hold onto the ball under pressure from Dobson, but Rodriguez gets a good hard tackle in him. And now it's Barnett just pushing it down the line. Matty James back inside nicely. Barnett accelerating now. Has Smith ahead of him. Finds him. Right channel just outside the box. Hits a shot deflected. That'll be a corner. Good clean hit that. And it's hurt Taylor as well, I think. He's down on his hands and knees. He'll be okay to continue, but
yeah, it's actually a good block, yeah. James makes the break, and what he does is a lovely little toe inside to Barnett. He knows he's coming. And then Smith pulls out, wants to be on that left foot. Good block out for a set piece.
Rathbone goes across to the corner of the pitch where the two stands of Wrexham fans meet and gets a good reception. It'll be an in-swinger. Wrexham again, lots of big men round the penalty spot. McLean standing beyond the keeper. Rathbone signals, everyone back defending with Northampton. Ball swept with height to the far post. O'Connell gets a head to it, drops to the goal mouth. Sanev does well to stretch over the defenders and just push it away. And it's cleared. Hoskins as well to keep his balance, and even better to skin his man. That's good play by Hoskins, and he's helped it on well as well. McGeehan working it to the left-hand side. There's danger here as Costello cuts in, then feeds it wide. Committed crosses to the far post. Brunt just get, I think, a bit of a touch on that, and that meant that the ball hit the top of Hoskins' head and goes behind for the goal kick. But wow, it's an electric break that.
It was a really good break by Northampton. But there's gold shirts flooding back. The overlap by Pinnock. And he dinks it to the far post. And like you say, I think Brunt just gets something on it to put Hoskins off. What that does, their formation with Hoskins and Pinnock either side, what it does give you is two players that want to be forward thinking, want to get in the box, and Hoskins does that. Just can't direct his header on target.
Here is Wilson, who is now getting into the game a little bit. The ball over the top by Hoskins is a testing one. Costello's after it. O'Connell hasn't dealt with it, but the flag goes up against Costello. O'Connell just looking to nod it square for Cleworth, but didn't get enough on it. But tight call that.
Yeah, I hope he knew, because it looked like he just stopped for a second. Just keep going, play to the ball, deal with it. Yeah, it was an early flag as well.
I love this on us. Wrexham. Jarvis is evoking the spirit of Port Vale and shouting, "Oi, shift!" At, of course, Red Star is Kat, who sits where she wants, right in front of the screen. When Wrexham are on, she can't be torn away from the pictures. Long ball forwards, and Nodamayo can't get rid of it because Rodriguez was leaning back into him. It's knocked over the top of Wrexham's defence, which is an attempt to. Cleworth on the back pedal does well, gets ahead to it. Barnett may have just touched it with his hand there, not seen, and O'Connell hooks it away for a throw-in, and the Northampton fans are encouraged. Just had a couple of promising moves forward. Steve Parkin walks back to the bench, chatting with Aidan Davison. He may be getting close to the points where we consider a change.
Well, 5 subs are out warming up, so I'd expect something round 70.
Long throw,
normally the Parkinson weight.
Yeah, the strikers tend to get a little bit of a break as a foot in on the edge of the box by Rodriguez. Wins a throw to Wrexham. And Wrexham are not in a huge rush to take it. Cleworth, who had gone across the box to pick up for the long throw, is jogging across to his position to take the throw in. Ref tells him to hurry up because Northampton fans were complaining, but that's where Cleworth was. He's on normal throw from that part of the pitch. Throw in taken, headed out. Another throw to Wrexham. About 15 yards short of halfway now.
Yeah, our new 2 front men that have been brought in the window, they just look like they really complement each other. Each other's games are very simple. Smith on the last man, running in those channels and offered so much today with energy. And Rodriguez so clever, dropping into those pockets that's created by Smith's energy going forward. So it looks a good pair that have been put together.
Yeah, they do seem, Rodriguez just seems so aware of the possibilities to play Smith, and Smith's runs, and I mean this in the complimentary sense, are sort of predictable. You know he'll make certain types of runs, and Rodriguez is smart enough to recognise that and see that he needs to feed it, as Barnett does well, scrapping defensively to win the ball. Dobson drills it, too much on that. And it'll go for a throw, but deep in Northampton's half. You're talking before the commentary about long ball teams. Dobson there just giving Northampton a throw deep in their own half.
Play for territory. Yeah, our conversation before was about proper old school teams and proper football, which was every first thought was to put it in the channel, to turn teams round, grow the grass long, in the corners so that it stopped, the ball held up, and so that you could get players and you'd play for territory. That was proper old-fashioned football, but that was a more cultured effort by Dobson, playing for throw-ins and etc.
It was an essential effort, wasn't it, really? Yeah, that game at Lincoln that you scored in where there was no grass, the alternative approach, of course, and wow. That was quite a Lincoln team, that was. Ooh, Dobson's caught out here. Costello can't quite tame the ball, but he's done well. He's got beyond Clewis into the box, feeds it in the goal mouth. Good defending again by Brunt, who stood up. McGeehan got across him, tried to deflect it on goal, but Brunt was touch tight. But Wrexham just need to dig in here. Can't afford to concede the goal that would let Northampton back in, and the pressure ends as Costello gets his pass wrong through, and he's really angry with himself.
Yeah, it comes from a couple of slips, doesn't it? When the ball comes out, Clewis slipping inside, but that's given certainly the fans a bit of hope that there is an opportunity. But like I said, Brunt covers round brilliantly, gets a bit lucky as the ricochet hits his feet. Is it lucky or is it good positioning?
That's it, isn't it? Put yourself in the right place and things will go well more often than not. As throw-in will be taken by Northampton, who continue to put pressure on Wrexham. It's thrown towards a corner of the box. Good foot in again by Brunt, who knocks it long. Smith isolated, can't beat Deitch to the ball. Rodriguez fighting for it. In the end, O'Connell does well, intercepts, and just a neat little pass to James, and it goes. James has got space radar. He knows to feed it out where Clewis is unmarked. Lovely little layoff by Dobson, back to Barnett, who then scoops over the top. That's a great run by Smith, and Deitch does ever so well. Okay, flag up for offside. I really thought Smith had timed that, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think it might have been Rodriguez running from the blind side, but like you say, I thought the timing was immaculate. We'll get a better idea here as he plays. No, he's just strayed. I think he was going off the first pass rather than the second one.
Yeah. Long ball forwards. Flicked on well by Wilson and picked up by McGeehan edge area. Poor pass by him, and Dobson again quick in his use of the ball. Barnett's clearance is blocked. Rathbone can't pick it up on the edge of the box. Perry pressured by James. Good work by James. Knocks him off balance. Northampton though retrieve possession. Ball fed forwards. There's a couple of ricochets. Barnett has to be alert to hook the ball clear. Barnett's excellence going forwards sometimes I think obscures people to the fact that he has developed extremely well as a defensive wing back. He is a cross now coming in, and it flicks off the top of McGeehan's head at the far post. Chipped back in by Hoskins. Easy header clear for Rodriguez, who again puts in his shift and gets back in the box. Through into Northampton. Pinnock is jogging across, and it will take it.
Well, I think you can just see glimpses of what Northampton can offer when they do get their wing-backs higher and more attacking positions, because all they've had to do is defend today. But when they do, they've got little intricacies into those front three, and they've got a little bit about them. Their movement's good. They just haven't had enough of it today.
Long throw is flicked on by Deitch and goes behind for the goal kick, and Northampton fans complain it's a corner. It certainly didn't look like it.
So Fletcher is ready to come on in equally fluorescent boots as Zanev's kit.
Yeah, they're impressive there.
But it looks like Rodriguez makes way. He's been fantastic today, I think. Offers this team so much. Because I think if Parkinson was swaying towards that Elliott Lee, not that full two strikers up the pitch away from home, just one that maybe helps out, well, Rodriguez has done it to perfection today.
Yeah, he's just so intelligent, and as well for me, you feel there's a lot more to come as well, because a lot of his passes, he hasn't quite found a target, but they're the right idea. Yeah, exciting signing. And now Fletcher's on to replace him. We've got a few players with a bit of technique and quality out there. Throwing to Wrexham. 19 minutes plus added time left. And in the end, the throw goes Wrexham's way again. Northampton fans are not happy. Nolan, once more, is histrionic in his reaction to it. Cleworth telling Fletcher to back up down the line, throws it beyond him in the end. Deitch off balance because Smith has caught him. Free kick.
100% the referee was going to give that, though, because he didn't know whether the decision was Northampton's or not. He gave the free kick to Wrexham, so you know that if there's anything coming, it's going to be a free kick. And Smith, just a little pull on the shirt, blows straight away.
Zanev knocks it long. Too long. Headed out of play by James, who then complains because he could have left that if he got a chance for a goal kick. As there is Wrexham are defending another Pinnock long throw from about 20 yards out on the left-hand side. He steps up, again slings it towards the corner of the 6-yard box, flicked on well, but straight into the arms of Howard by Costello. And he wanders up to the edge of the area. It's a nice little ground, this Sixfields, neat ground.
I agree. Perfect size for the club that Northampton are.
It's off balance. McGowan has to hook out of play.
Yeah, I see Northampton as one of those teams that if you're a manager, if you get them in League Two, you've got a really good chance because it's good following, a good ground, good facilities and a good budget. But if you get them in League One, it's a tougher task to keep them in there because they haven't got the resources to really kick on, and they sort of fluctuate, don't they, between League One and League Two. But like you say, the ground is perfect. 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 capacity is about right.
Hoskins flicks it on. Wrexham win it back. McLean knocks it off Hoskins for another throw. Yeah, it's quite attractive with the grass bank behind the goal. Howard's defending as well, and the woods behind the other goal. And since since I've last been here, a really big sort of retail setup has sprung up around it as well.
That's right. And
As Wrexham win the ball back, Fletcher nearly through on goal. Important tackle by Deitch. Fletcher keeps chasing and forces Zanev to launch it long.
Yeah, well, also the stand that the viewers are seeing on the screen opposite us, well, that was derelict for a long, long time. Mismanagement. They got a stand. They got planning permission for a stand. Got given the money by the council, and the owners ended up, I think, disappearing with it. And so they've somehow found the resources to get that built, and that's a real plus for this stadium because it's double-sided. There's obviously hospitality in it, so they'll certainly benefit from that.
He has been told before the game by a steward that it'll be fully open, i.e. to get the box open for their next home game. That's a nice piece of play by McLean. Spots Dobson a bit of space and controls a volley to him. Now it's Barnett on the right, taking on Pinnock. No cover for Pinnock, and Barnett cuts inside him to the edge of the box, lays the ball backwards. James over the top, lovely ball. Fletcher with a header, and he doesn't get it right. I mean, to be fair, he didn't have much pace on it when it came to him, but he just placed it wide of goal.
No, he's normally a little bit more quality than that, though, Fletcher, because it's a lovely little left ball from James. He knows the run he's looking for as it gets left. Fletcher makes it, just doesn't really use the spin on the ball. The spin's obviously taking it away from goal, and as you head it, it normally comes off your forehead and goes into that far corner. Just doesn't redirect it right. Like you say, probably does need a little bit more pace on it. It just rolls across the 6-yard box.
He just looked a little bit like he's got slightly ahead of it as well, and he's sort of trying to pull himself back. There's treatment at the moment to... It's not Deitch, or is it Deitch? A Northampton player down getting treated. It's not Deitch because he's down in front of us taking on liquid. Both teams come across their benches.
Yeah, Perry it is.
Beg your pardon. Ben Perry, a name that would be so suggestive to all fans of Phoenix Knights. He's getting some treatment, looks like, to his right ankle.
Yeah, that little move there that Matty James did, that was a pattern of play that we used to use, that when the ball gets played back to a centre midfielder, obviously the central three defenders then shift up because they're looking to take a yard and play you offside. But if you as a striker can take a couple of steps and go, then you're in if they can leave it in that gap, and it's certainly something we worked on, and that there just showed me that the stuff going on the training ground that we don't see, that little bits like that and the bit of quality that those two have, they're able to create chances from a little deft little clip to the back post, and Fletcher just heading wide.
Well, there's activity in the side. The pitch, no one seems to quite know what's going on.
Well,
It
Perry's
is
coming
going to
off,
be,
yeah.
it is Perry coming off and Baldwin coming on. There seemed to be a bit of miscommunication. Before the visual had his board, then walked back, then walked up again. A second board's ready. I think Wrexham might make a change soon. That's why, because there is another sub ready. Baldwin comes on, and Odemayo comes off as well. And Magloire comes on. And now there was a lot of confusion. Players putting their bibs back on and then off again. Wrexham appear to be thinking about a change.
There's been another fair few changes there. Trying to look and see what setup they've got. Have they gone to a back four?
Looks like they might have done. With
All
Magloire
right.
on the right.
Yep.
McGowan on the left.
Hoskins up.
Yeah, Hoskins in a more advanced position on the right as Connell from the free kick. A goal kick rather, wins it well. Dobson arrives late with a header. Free kick in the centre circle. No bookings for Wrexham yet. But the nice is young. So again, Wrexham send everyone back to defend. Because before that stoppage, Fletcher had 2 openings in the space of about a minute, and that's encouraging to see him getting involved and adding to our threat. So the free kick's played square. Rathbone comes sprinting out to try and get a block on, but the ball carries to the edge of the area. McGeehan helps it on. Hoskins drills it, but puts it wide. He hit it well, but you can see Hoskins, Howard, the moment it went, was saying, don't worry, it's going wide. And here comes a double change by Wrexham. Simon Smith will be replaced by Marriott. And Ryan Longman will come on for Ryan Barnett to freshen things up a bit. The moment that Parkinson saw that shot whistle past, he turned round and demanded the change be made now. I think he wasn't happy that they'd managed to get a bit of space on the edge of the area, and he wants to make his alterations.
Well, one thing you know as a striker when you sign for Wrexham is that you're very unlikely to finish a game if you start. You know you're going to get some, despite how good you are. Smith has been fantastic today. Really led the line very, very well. Ran into those channels. Been relentless problem for the Northampton back 3 and 2 now. And then you just see Marriott jogging on, who looks like he's got the bit between his teeth again since his injury. And then Longman as well comes on for Barnett, who's done really well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Longman indeed who receives the ball adroitly from Dobson and cuts in nicely. Dobson made a nice one ahead of him. He doesn't play it to him. James instead receives it. Brunt feeding it forward to Rathbone. McLean is ahead of him and he finds McLean up against Magloire. Does on his right foot, then his left foot. Magloire does well to tackle. Throws to Wrexham by the corner flag. Magloire does a elaborate pantomime of going to take the throw in before realising with astonishment that the decision's knocking against him, has got knocking for him.
Well, I'm sure a pass in there by James, it wasn't for, it was meant to be for Rathbone and it went between them, but it worked out all right. And McLean ends up with a throw in deep into Northampton's half.
He's got a run to the corner flag, doesn't use this and throws it inside. The ball's hooked into the goal mouth, Sanev's ball, despite the presence of Fletcher jumping in front of him. That was always the keeper's. Sanev thinks about bowling it out and then I think wisely decides not to. He does once McGowan's got a bit higher up the pitch. McGowan on the left-hand side playing at left-back now. Long ball forwards. Cleworth can't win it cleanly. McGeehan cutting in from the left. Works out wide to Costello. Chance to cross. He's taking on Cleworth instead onto his right foot. Chips it into the goalmouth nicely. Well read again by Brunt, who wins an important header in the 6-yard box. Dobson forwards. Can't find Fletcher. And there's a bit more bounce to Northampton again as Taylor works it wide. McGeehan back to McGowan. 25 yards out. Matty James forcing him wide. He pops it inside. And the return ball is a poor one to McGeehan. Drilled long by Cleworth. Wrexham again giving it away. Lomarisson brilliantly to nick it from Deitch. Tries driving forwards. Good recovering tackle by Deitch. Parkinson wants a foul. Marriott doesn't ask for it. You can see why they like Deitch. He's a solid, sort of straightforward style centre-back, isn't he?
Yeah, it's very, very simple. He heads it, he kicks it, he tackles, and he competes.
Northampton are practiced in the art of appealing for stuff that was never theirs and acting like it was theirs and hoping the referee falls for it. Didn't work that time, as McGeehan claimed that Longman headed the ball, even though it was about 10, 15 feet in the air. Cleworth down the line.
So definite change round in formation for Northampton, gone to a 4-2-3-1.
Marriott does really well to win a free kick there. He was fed with 3 defenders round him and kept his balance until one of them made contact. Free kick on the halfway line. We've got 8 minutes plus added time left. Wrexham 2-0 up.
Would have liked the third.
Oh, yeah.
That would have eased things a little bit, but we've still been in, I can't remember a Mark Howard save to make.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he's had a pretty comfortable day so far. Cleworth stands up to edge there. Fletcher, I did well then just to pin his man and tried to run it through to McLean, but he didn't quite reach him. That's a good flick on that by Dobson. He wins a free kick. He's putting a hell of a shift, Dobson, in the middle of the pitch, and immediately gets a high five from Rathbone for putting his body in the line.
Yeah. Do you think they recharge each other? You know, like with a high five. Yes. They charge each other up. Right, there you go. You can go again for another 10.
Contactful charging. That's it, isn't it? They are scarily energetic at this. It's frightening. Yeah. You know, looking at us coming up the divisions, one of the things you see, just that professionalism in terms of being able to keep going, as here now is Longman taking on his man. He drills in the cross, takes a deflection, spins awkwardly, and it's important header by McGowan on the edge of the area. Northampton just about bring it clear. Costello carrying it forwards, runs into traffic though. Longman now on the edge of the box, and his right foot drills a shot, deflected behind. The clean hits that, and McGowan turned his back on it, but it hit his legs and went behind.
Yeah, Marriott made the run just down the side. He's looking for the slide ball, but doesn't get it. Longman decides to take the shot, and he's well in his rights to. Hits it well enough. Just deflected wide.
McLean goes across to take the corner. Wrexham defending the lead in the best way possible by applying pressure on Northampton. And the noise now when McLean is on the ball is purely positive. The Wrexham fans are absolutely loving this. They've been going through the repertoire last 10 minutes. Here's McLean. Beyond the far post, keeper can't come. Fletcher gets there, it's loose. Headed towards goal and hooked spectacularly away. Well, Fletcher, I think it may have hit his shoulder initially. And then was it McCluworth lunging in the goal mouth?
Yep. Fletcher didn't quite get on it. Keeper came underneath it. Thought Fletcher might if he gets a good contact on it and goal bound, but doesn't. It loops up to Cleworth. He can't get any real purchase on it, and it's cleared away.
McLean again into a similar area. Keeper drops it this time. Hits a Taylor, and they just about managed to hack it clear. Now there's stuff going on here off the ball. A Wrexham player being surrounded by Northampton players, and it's all kicking off.
Well, Cleworth's shirt's around his neck in there, so I'm not really sure what happened there.
Well, just looking at the footage, the camera naturally follows the ball, but it is Cleworth, is it, in the middle of them all? Yeah, there's shirts all over the place, isn't it? The referee has called McGeehan over and Cleworth. Now you had
it certainly was those two in the middle with grabbing each other's shirt.
He shows Cleworth a yellow. Did he show McGeehan one as well?
Yeah, both of them, yeah. I think that's mandatory for refs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Big melee. What can I do? I'll just bring one of each team over that I'll pick out. And those two were the ones that started it. Bang, yellow card. And that's how they deal with those situations.
Exactly. It doesn't seem to necessarily have a bearing what actually happened. There's Wrexham win it back brilliantly. Lovely feed by James. Peters' man drills it over. Oh, it was a lovely piece of footwork. And he had options. I was at his Marriott is pointing out.
Both strikers. Yeah. Fletcher's looking at him. Marriott's looking at him. I think why not? What feet though in there. Just took a little Iniesta in the middle of the pitch. Sold him for an absolute pie. Yeah, he could have slid Fletcher and he could have slipped Marriott in, but why not have a pot shot? Maybe got to hit the target would be a little bit of a criticism, but I think he thoroughly deserves to be able to take it.
I totally agree, but I reserve the right to amend my opinion if Northampton score now.
Correct.
Yeah, when you've done that, you might as well go for a goal. Go for that, the goal of your life. So Northampton do have an attacking throw-in now. And Pinnock thought about the short one. Decides against it. He throws it in long, headed partly away. Hoskins hooks it back, but too much on that. Easy for Howard, and so easy, in fact, he takes it on his chest on the goal line to invite a Northampton player, Wilson, to come and make him pick it up.
It's not the most lethal long throw, is it? That
No.
one. It's like a looping sort of. I think I could throw it like that. Look, loops up, doesn't reach the 6-yard line. Not sure it's a proper weapon.
Yeah, it's sort of the drops, doesn't it? It doesn't. I don't think any of us have really reached the 6-yard box. He's no Tozer. As Wrexham overthrown the halfway line. And Cleworth will take it. The Wrexham fans, as the Northampton fans leave the ground in numbers, asking, is there a fire drill? As McLean stands up a diagonal into the box, doesn't put enough on it to find Fletcher. Ball prodded forwards, and Wilson's attempt at a return ball, well read by Brunt, who feeds it unlucky. A studied ball down the left channel from Marriott. He just couldn't receive it on the run. Trod on it. The ball worked wide to the left-hand side. Pinnock trying to run at Longman. He's forced by Longman's pressure to play it backwards. McGowan with a return pass is a tempting one. Dobson full stretch lunges in. Corner. And Wrexham, so having been comfortable, to be honest, can't afford to invite late drama now. The big men are up from the back, lurking around the edge of the area. As Northampton's two fullbacks can play centre-back. So they've got plenty of aerial strength in there. And the corner is put into the goal mouth and headed away well. That's a good contact on it. Brunt again. Wrexham forced the ball back to the halfway line. McGowan takes a touch. Marriott likes the look of that, but can't get there to stop the ball going forwards. Flicked on harmlessly. And straight through to Howard, who immediately is gesturing to everyone. Stay calm.
Yeah, good shout though. Fletcher's ready to pull the trigger and blast it further up the pitch. But what that does do, very experienced Mark Howard, just gives him a shout. No, you're all right, mate. I'm behind you. We can pick it up and take the sting out of the rest of this.
Howard goes long. Fletcher helps it on. And Marriott on the chase. Slightly weird one, that then, as Fletcher didn't seem to know where his marker was and seemed to almost bounce off his head rather than anything else. James helps it on, puts it between the two strikers. Deitch has time to control it. The Wrexham fans are looking to sing their team home now. We're into the 90th minute. Taylor.
It was like somebody turned Fletcher off then, wasn't
Yeah.
it? It was like he just stood still with the ball up above his head, and then eventually it just lands on his head. It's like perfectly positioned.
That's it's the equivalent of a no-look pass, wasn't it? It's a no-look header. Milgua stands it up, and it's flicked on by Pinnock. Cleworth will have to be alert, and he is. Holds Costello off well. And it's a goal kick to Wrexham.
Well, I think the stats there just show how dominant Wrexham have been. 13 shots to 5 in this half. Not in this half, in the game, sorry.
Yeah, it's been impressive, this, by Wrexham.
It's only really been, though, Zanev, really the Rodriguez chance that he's had to make a save from. We haven't really caused him to make a lot of saves, but we've had good chances that have just rolled the wrong side of the post. And Mark Howard's had a fairly relatively simple 90 minutes and 18 seconds so far. He's not been called into action. A couple of shots, but well wide.
Yeah, I'm struggling to think of a cross he's had to take with any difficulty, never mind a shot on target.
They're the days keepers like, right? Stood in their box and just have the rest of the far pitch.
Yeah, 4 minutes are added on, and we are nearly through the first of those as Wrexham are in Northampton's half. Fletcher nodding the ball to McLean. It drops behind him. The Wrexham will keep the ball. Well, no, they won't keep the ball moving because Brunt launches it down the line, doesn't get it right, and it's a throw-in to Northampton, short of the halfway line. Throw down the line, headed back to where it came from. Another throw to Northampton. We've had quarter now of the added minutes, as Northampton go back to Zanev. He knocks it long. One last effort to get a goal that can just make things difficult at the end, but O'Connell has been excellent in the air. Gets it clear comfortably. Dyche, possibly put off by a teammate, nods it downwards. A little lucky that it fell to a teammate. When it's helped on again, Longman intercepts. Throw to Northampton. About 30 yards out. Pinnock this time takes it quickly. Gets it back on the left flank. Longman again is blocking his path. And the ball is fed forwards. Chance for McGeehan to cross. Puts a bit of shape onto that to the far post, but no one attacking it. And McLean, nice little ball, help forwards. Rathbone now driving up the left-hand side. Runs out of pitch. Throw in. Again, Northampton want to take it quickly. It'll be Magloire who eventually throws it in. And it's helped onto the left-hand side. McGowan standing an awkward one up now. O'Connell comfortable. And now Wrexham can break again, perhaps. Fletcher in midfield helps her on. McLean on the surge. Wrexham fans stop singing as they see him break down the flank, but he's happy just to slow things down and take control. We're 2.5 minutes now into the 4 added minutes, and Wrexham are looking to see this out, quite rightly. It's Cleworth with the long flat diagonal. That's an interesting one. Marriott chases till he sees that McLean is there. And McLean pulls it back, and Marius, here's a chance to hit it. Curls around the keeper, can't quite bring it back enough. And it goes wide. But again, it's Wrexham causing the issues, and that's appropriate, I think, really.
Yeah, well, I think the diagonal's meant for Marriott, but it's just a little bit overhit, but puts McLean in. And then McLean and Marriott just pulls out to the edge of the box and just can't quite curl it round the defender into that far corner. But I think this is as a professional, comfortable away performance as Wrexham have had all season.
Yeah,
Mark's chucking his iPhone around at the minute.
iPhone and iPad. I know, an iPencil as well. Anything that starts with a vowel isn't safe with me. Colin Henry's passes them back. Oh, you're a gent. Yeah, Wrexham are really been comprehensive. And let's not forget, this is a Northampton team that won its last 2 matches. They've come into this in form, and we have dominated them on their own patch. So Northampton just building neatly down the left-hand side. There's little time left now. The ball is fed back to Dyche in his own half. And that is the final whistle.
Well, I think that is by far Wrexham's best display away from home, with intent both ways, with and with a ball, and they've certainly dominated that game. 13 shots, 14 with the extra one from Marriott at the end, and they just dominated from start to finish. Couple of bits in the middle, but you're going to get that when you're away from home. But I think Phil Parkinson will be delighted with his team's display today and how they've taken on board what he's asked of them in the week and put it into action today. Yeah, fantastic performance that, isn't it? I mean, you know, we started at the races, we were looking good from the very beginning, and got that early goal. Sam Smith, hugely impressive, breaking onto a kick by Howard and putting it across in brilliant finish, and a proper instinctive striker's finish as well. The second goal coming when Rathbone won a loose ball on the edge of the box and was able to put it across the keeper. Not the best contact, but it didn't really matter. He placed it beautifully, and Wrexham had a 2-goal lead. And after that, frankly, it was only Wrexham who threatened to get another goal, wasn't it? We had Rodriguez denied by the keeper at the start of the second half. Marius with that threatening shot at the end. Wrexham caused problems from a couple of late set pieces. And yeah, that's about as comprehensive as it gets, isn't it? Let's be honest. Yeah, I agree. And what the only compliment I can play to the whole team is that I would like to pick out somebody for man of the match, but I can't. Do you know what I mean? I think Brunt was excellent. Cleworth, the back three were superb. They dealt with anything that Northampton threw at them. Smith was energetic. Rodriguez was tricky. And the 3 midfielders were just insanely on their game today. And when you get that, you're going to do well. And they did. and it was a simple and comfortable 2-0. And like you say, to an informed Northampton team as well, they'll be delighted, and a really good foundation, I feel, that for the coming away trips that we've got and the games we've got coming up in the rest of the month.
Yeah, absolutely. It really was impressive. It was solid. So it was also a performance which saw us dominate possession. A lot of people have been concerned by our inability to do that in away games. Well, we did that perfectly then. We were snappy in our passing. The three midfielders, terrific. Those two strikers really offered something up front which allowed the midfielders to be in control of it. I swear to God, they're playing Oh Christmas Tree. What is going on? But anyway, never mind. We've broken Northampton. I mean, that's perfect, isn't it?
Well, I think you talked about control there. And I think in the away games that we've played and that we've won, we were never in control of those games. It's always we're fighting fires, we're trying to put out fires. They've got possession of the ball, they're causing us problems, but we're hanging in there because we've got good players that do that, and there's a dogged spirit about this group. But today was a really controlled effort. You know, we had so much more control with the ball. We weren't willing to just smash it forward. We made a pass into James and to Dobson and to Rathbone and Rodriguez when he dropped in, which then enables us to just make that pass and keep that possession. Then we can do our stuff, which we know we've got the quality to do, and that enables you to then control the game more than we have done in the past, and hopefully that's a good springboard for how we can play, or a print for how we can play away from home and dominate games as well.
And to be fair, you know, Kevin Nolan's getting a tune out of this Northampton squad. He's come in last month. He's improved their results considerably. They've come off 2 wins and 2 good wins against decent sides. And yet he's had to change formation midway through because of the problems we've given them. The Northampton fans have clapped their team off the pitch because they feel that their team has turned up. I think all those things, really do tell you something about how well we played.
Absolutely. But I feel that we didn't let them play. You know, it wasn't them that they were poor. We just didn't enable them to get into any rhythm. Right from the start, we had kick-off and we were on the front foot. Our front three were hounding and harrying their team whenever they got the ball. The wing-backs were right on. Our midfielders were pushing right forward when the back three had the ball to stop them being able to play quality balls forward. And that gave us the foundation to then play our football.
Exactly. So it's a heck of a great way to spend your Saturday morning travelling to Northampton if you're going to put in this level of performance. A great result for Wrexham, and yeah, we maintain the good form that we've been in lately. 3 away games in a row now. Bad away form? Puh, honestly. With a final score of Northampton Town 0, Wrexham 1, we've been Mark Griffiths and Andy Morrell from Wrexham AFC.